All right, let's talk about being with a cancer, being in love with a cancer, having a relationship with a cancer, what the experience is like. If you are with a cancer, it's going to be an experience like you've never, ever, ever had in your whole life before. These people are in a complete class that is just different. It's all of their own, So if you ever get to be in a relationship with a cancer, or even just to be friends with them, to be in the inner circle, it's just a very different experience. Now, these people predominantly have two classes of life going on. There's the part that everybody sees, and there's the part that only a very few people are privy to getting to see. And the people that are not private to the one part or to the other part, they're not even going to know that that part exists. Like, cancer can be so secretive. So welcome to this video. My name is Adrian Nelson. I am a fellow Cancerian. So I've been asked to do these videos for quite a while. And I thought, well, let me start off with the zodiac energy that I probably know the best, which is Cancer. So Cancer is Cancer's sun, which is how you express yourself, the outer expression. Those are people born between 21-22 June until 21-22 July. Give or take a little bit, depending on where in the world you are. So this video is for Cancer Sun. So like myself, a Cancerian, born July the 8th, 1982. It could be for Cancer Rising. It could also be, especially be for Cancer Moon. So if your zodiac energy is Cancer Moon, you definitely want to watch this reading or this video. I'm so used to saying reading because I do a lot of tarot readings on my YouTube channel as well. So if you are new here, welcome. If you're not yet subscribed, I'd really like to ask you to subscribe. I'm going to do one of these videos for all the different zodiac energies, and I really want to get into it because astrology is such an interesting topic. So I am going to address 5 different sort of issues or things in this video that you want to know about. Love, because nobody loves like a Cancer. Money, there are things about Cancer and money that you want to know, because this can be the end of y'all if you don't know these things. And Cancer, if you know what I'm talking about, or if you've been dating a Cancer, or you're with a Cancer, or your friend's a Cancer, your sibling, your child, your parent, if you know what I'm talking about, then in the comments let me know that you know what I'm talking about, because when you know, you know. Food, I have to talk about food when it comes to Cancer. These people love their food. I love my food. I am already excited. Even before I started recording this video, I've already planned what I'm going to eat. Mood swing is a very real thing with Cancerians. And then also intimacy. So by intimacy, I'm talking about hanky-panky. If you ever, oh my goodness, should I even say this? If you want to experience real soul connection, jiggling your brains type of hanky-panky, Cancer will rock your fucking world. I promise you. I have rocked some worlds. I promise you, if there is a zodiac energy that can rock your world, it's Cancer. Okay? Let's start off by talking about love. Love to Cancer is it's like the air that they breathe. They need love. Now, everybody needs love. Everybody wants love. But for Cancer, it's a very different sort of thing. The first thing to remember when it comes to love with Cancer, which is going to tie in with sort of money and all those other things, but just for love. Cancer is the homemaker. Cancer is predominantly, this is Bruno. Cancer is predominantly looking for a sense of home. And I think this is where a lot of people sometimes miss the plot a little bit when it comes to Cancer. They're not necessarily looking for an actual home. They're looking for a sense of home, for a sense of place, for a sense of being. I remember a couple of years ago in the Middle East, in Abu Dhabi, I worked for this beautiful Rosewood Hotel, and they were speaking about creating a sense of home. And I was like, ooh, that really resonated with me. That's what Cancer's looking for. So, which is quite interesting because the nature of Cancer can be a little bit nomadic as well. And I think when I normally say nomadic, people misunderstand me. Nomadic doesn't mean that like almost like the like Gemini, for example. they like to go all over the place. Typically, there's quite a stereotyping because it depends on a lot of things, but you know, typical Gemini energy, actually typical air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, oh my goodness, Aquarius. They're very, interested. They like the air. They're everywhere, and so they can be yeah, and there. Now, Cancer's also like that, but there's a very definite twist to that. Cancer would rather go to somewhere for 2 weeks or for 3 months for that matter. So, whereas, for example, the more sort of active signs, even the fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, where they more sort of like, let's go, 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 go. The more water signs typically, which Cancer forms part of, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, as well as the earth signs, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, they are typically more sort of like location bound for a little bit of a longer period of time. So with Cancer, they do have a tendency to get quite bored very easily, and you want to know this about in love as well. They can get bored. If you don't give them what they need, they'll get bored and they'll move on. It's just a fact. All right. Cancer is almost like water. If there's nothing happening in the water goes stale. But it doesn't mean that there has to be a whole sort of like, fluctuation happening all the time. All right. So remember that about your Cancer. They do need change of scenery. And in actual fact, Cancer really benefits from a person in love that is not really going to push them, like overwhelm them, because they don't always do so well with a lot of changes on the outside, because there's a lot of changes happening inside already. And we're going to speak about that when we speak about moods. Okay? So the reason why they sometimes like to be in a more stable space for a longer period of time, I don't know if you could hear my stomach growl, for a longer period of time, is because it gives them a sense of stability. So what you want to know about love, before you get to hanky-panky and all those type of things, and if you want your world to be rocked by them, then you need to know these things. These people have a need for inner stability, to feel safe with you, to feel secure with you. Okay? They're not just going to go give it up. All right? A Cancer that typically just gives it up is a Cancer who is not happy. It's a Cancer who's insecure. It's a Cancer who's looking for a deeper connection. Okay? These people are always looking for love. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. In the same way that a teenage boy, well, girls too, but typically a teenage boy, have kind of like 99.9% only one thing on the mind, Cancer's got love on the mind. But it is not the kind of love where you just, try this person a bit and try that person a bit. They are looking for that true, deep soul connection. Okay? They're looking for the true, deep soul connection. That person that they can feel safe with. The person that they can reveal they're absolute fucking crazy to. Like, you all know what I'm talking. If you know Cancer, you know what I'm talking about. These people are psychos. And I suppose by saying that, by default, I'm also implicating myself. These people are psychos. Okay? Also, they just want to be accepted. Cancer's got a very interesting way about them. It's very difficult to really pinpoint it. But, it's in the way they speak, it's in the way they express themselves, it's in their style, it's the way that they eat, it's the way that they walk. They often have that little bit of a wiggly sort of walk, which also actually, let me add to you that you also want to know is that Cancer sometimes has things like back problems, hip problems, joint problems, all those sort of stuff. And these are not typically people that are going to really make a fuss about what they're going through. If there's one energy that can suffer in silence, oh my goodness, they kick Virgo's ass like nobody's business. It's Cancer. These people can be smiling on the outside and be all happy, namaste, life is great, chilled vibes, good vibes all around. And inside they can be crumbling, breaking down. Now another sign that can do that is Aries. But I promise you they even give Aries a run for their money, because at some point, Aries reserve will sort of break down, because Aries is a beautiful, gentle energy, and they probably burst into tears or something, or unexpected song. Cancer is able to keep that mask on so solid that they may even start to fool themselves. So they are looking for somebody who is going to accept them unconditionally. And they are going to start showing their crazy to you in very tiny increments. These people can actually shock you sometimes. Because something else to know, yes, we're going to get to hanky panky, but something that you want to know is that, as I said, these people have two personalities, Cancerians. They are the angel out on the street, like the angel out on the street. Butter has no chance of melting in their mouth. But behind closed doors, if you have been able to get to that inner center part of their heart, boy oh boy, I don't know, these people are like nymphomaniacs. And again, implicating myself here. But Cancer's looking for somebody that they can really, truly, and honestly be themselves with. That's what they ultimately want. They trust is very, very important to them. Okay? And they will respect you more if you say, listen, I don't want anything serious. I just want to fool around. They will probably say yes, depending on what's happening in their lives. You know? But if you're going to tell them that you love them and you care about them and you want to be with them and you want to build a life with them, and you do not want, trust me when I tell you this. Trust me when I tell you this. Tell everybody to keep the world safe. You do not want a Cancerian as an enemy. You really don't. You don't. Trust me when I tell you this. Doesn't matter who you are. You don't want these people as your enemy. Suffer thy fool. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about. Have you had an interaction with a Cancer? Or did somebody do you wrong? Okay. So as I said, Cancer, they're always looking for love. Really, honestly. It's a thing that's on their mind all the time. They will tell you they're not interested in love. Trust me when I tell you, it ain't the truth. These people love love. But a lot of times, Cancer loves the idea of being in love. They want somebody who is going to see them. So they want to reveal themselves to you bit by bit, but they don't want to have to tell you this is who they are. They want you to see them. And that sometimes means that you have to put up with a whole lot of crazy. Okay? A whole lot of crazy. And if you can put up with that crazy, these people are also very, they're very good at morphing themselves in a way. When you look at someone like Meryl Streep, probably the most brilliant actress, or one of the most brilliant actresses who ever lived, she can just become, it's like she's not even playing these roles, she becomes these roles. When you speak about method acting, which in case you don't know is where you become the role, the interesting thing with Cancer is that they can become the role and they can switch it on and off just like that. Like if you ever looked at Meryl, even they can switch it on and they can switch it off without falling into it. Another energy that can do that really well is Leo. Okay, but Cancer they can probably do about anything. Literally, these people are unstoppable. I mean, you look at someone like Richard Branson. These people are just, they see the world differently. But in the same token, when their hearts are broken, they just become these completely incapable of doing anything people. And trust me when I tell you, you don't want to be the one breaking their heart. No sir, no ma'am, no, whatever your pronoun is. Okay? You don't want to break these people's hearts. It's actually kind of tragic. With Cancer, when their hearts are broken, it's like they can't breathe. Actual heartbreak can make Cancer very sick. Physically sick. I have been disappointed before in my life and hurt. You become physically sick. You become physically incapable of doing anything, including your job, including taking out the trash, including taking yourself out of bed. But if that Cancer gets up from that bed and they kind of feel that they want to get you back, I don't even think the angels would want to be with you. So they're amazing in love. They're always looking for love, but they're looking for someone to see them. They're looking for someone to accept them. They're looking for someone to support them. And trust me when I say, what you give, you're going to get 99% back. But also when they're done, they're done. Like, nobody can be more done with you than a Cancer. And the funny thing is, Cancer will give you 300,000 different second chances. But they're going to remember it. And they will, when they say they give you another chance, they give you a chance really on a clean slate. You know, they're not going to fight and say, oh, you did that. Well, sometimes they will, but, you know, in general, they're going to give you a clean slate. Until one morning, they can just wake up and they'll be like, you know what? No, I'm not doing that anymore. And they will be as over you as if the two of you have never happened. That's it. Let's talk about money. Cancer want to feel secure. And a lot of people have this misconception that Cancer is all about money, which is not really true, even though in many ways it is. But there's a reason behind that. Cancers can be very deeply insecure people. Very. And they carry such a mask over themselves sometimes that you wouldn't be able to tell. I have had experiences in my life where my heart was absolutely breaking. It's like my soul was put through a blender. And you look at me on the outside, I look completely serene, like a sunrise over a morning and the first flower of spring coming up. Cancer, just going back to love, Cancer is looking for someone who can see through that. And not exploit it, just to see them. And even need you to support them. Okay? Money is very important to Cancer because Cancer likes security. And Cancer knows. It's like a thing. They just know. From birth probably, that very few people can typically really put up with them. They just know. You know, they the difficult ones. They the tough kids. And as much as sometimes people want to love and care about them, it's just hard sometimes. Cancer also really get to see the world. They see people. They see things. It's almost like they can't understand why other people don't see things. They're just very naturally psychic or intuitive or attentive or whatever it is that you want to call it. And they can pick something up from a text message. You can send me a text, even if I've never known you before, if I've known you my whole life. I will know something is wrong. I will know that you lied to me. They just know it. So Cancers want money. But what they really want is security. They want options. So if anything doesn't work out here anymore, then they can make a change, they can make a shift. Also, if you are with a Cancer, you don't want to be irresponsible with money. Even though these people like to buy stuff. But they have this natural ability to literally manifest money from thin air. These people's brains are like super brains. Their brains actually work really, really fast. Even though, interestingly enough, Cancers are typically called, well, not typically always, but a lot of times Cancers are seen as people who are having stuff like ADHD and learning difficulties and stuff like that, because they just get incredibly bored with the system. And they see the holes in the system from a very young age, and they see the dangers of the system, and that's why they want money. Because as fantastical and pie in the sky as Cancer can be, and they really can be, they understand that we are human beings living in a human environment, and the currency on this planet is undisputedly money. They fucking get that, you know. And if you ever with a Cancer and you are in a tight spot when it comes to finances, these people will be able to sort you out so well. But boy, do I even need to let you into the secret? If a Cancer discovers that you are taking advantage of them, it's like stealing their blood and selling it to vampires. They can make more in a couple of hours, yes, but why should they? Why can't they just sell the blood together? They would rather be in the thing that, hey, how about we draw this blood and we sell it together, and they'll probably be able to up their plan to a next level for you. But if you do them in, especially with their money, their home, their security, the people that they love, that includes their plants, their animals, their books, everything, you better be prepared to take that march across the Rainbow Bridge. And it's not like they're going to physically kill you. But they've got this look. And I've heard people talk about this look as well before. Apparently I also have the look. Apparently the look can crash you. You know? So money is security for Cancer. And again, Cancer is predominantly looking for security. They're looking for somebody they can build a life with. They're looking for somebody that they can trust. Cancer, it's funny. Cancer is one of those energies that they really, really want you close and around and all the time, but they also want some freedom and space. But they don't want to be with you if they have to be concerned about, oh my goodness, where you're at and what you're doing. To them, money, love, those are all the same things because it's all security. Yeah? So in the same token, and I want you to know this. This is a very, very, very real thing. You got to know that as capable as Cancer is of making money, if they don't have money and they're worried about money, these people are like a bear with a sore tooth. In actual fact, they are like a whole community of bears with sore teeth. So you just got to know that if there's scarcity, if there's lack, you're going to see a very different side of them. And that is when they need your support the most. They need you to be there, but they don't need you to stifle them. A good question would be to ask, what can I do? What would you like me to do? If they say nothing, is there even a point to carrying on? If they say nothing, that is where you probably, if you don't know them well, and this is like you have to really know things. If you don't, you want to say, okay, if you need me, I'm going to be over there. This is how you can reach me. Whatever you need, a hug, whatever, I'm here. Okay? But if you're all in money problems because you haven't been pulling your weight, you want to start pulling your weight. When Cancer starts having conversations with you about, maybe finding a job, changing your job, asking for a promotion, maybe doing this, maybe doing that, maybe doing that, you want to pay attention to that. They are typically going to tell you in a very almost nimble sort of way. You may think that they're not serious. When it comes to love and when it comes to money, these people are always serious. Always. Okay? So Cancer is very non-confrontational. They don't like the direct approach. I don't like the direct approach. It's taken me many years to really get to a point where I can just say, this is how I feel. Because this is how Cancer typically say, you know what, baby? And when they stop using the endearing terms and they use your birth names, then you must know you're very much in the red zone. So they say like, you know what, Adrian, I think we should do this, or I should do that, and I've been thinking about this, and I've been thinking about that, and like we should maybe do this and this and that. And a lot of times when they say that, people don't take them all that seriously. But you want to take Cancer very seriously. To them, it takes a lot of courage to just speak like that, especially with love, but especially money. Because it's very hard for them to speak about money because it really triggers their insecurities. So you don't have to be rich. These people will live under a bridge with you. What they're really looking for, remember, is closeness, it's safety, it's security, it's honesty. So as long as you're both honest and you both try your best and you're really there for one another, it's going to work out. Cancer wants to know that if they lose everything in life, they're not going to lose the love of their life. That's for them the big thing. And that's their greatest fear, really. That if they lose everything, including money, they're also going to lose the love of their life, which is why they don't just open their heart. Food. Cancerians and food. I told you already before I started this video, I've already planned what I'm going to make for food. These people don't typically like breakfast. I don't really like breakfast either. I remember that all my life, I've never really liked breakfast. And everybody was hopping on about, you must eat breakfast, it's so healthy, so I would eat it. And then when the whole intermittent fasting became a whole thing, eventually I looked into it and I was like, oh, I've been doing this naturally all my life. All right. Food for cancers can be a sense of security. And when I say food, I mean food. You know, they've got a lot of difficulty processing their emotions sometimes. Cancer can feel so many emotions that they really don't know what to do with them. Like, we're going to speak about the moodiness next, but just with food, you know, cancer eating is a way to try and stabilize their mood. Because when you eat, it tickles different parts of your senses. It gives your body something else to do. You taste different food, you smell different food. So it kind of takes you out of your heart, out of your head, into that heart space. But this is one of the biggest red flags when it comes to cancer, though. It's something that causes a lot of health problems for them in general. You know, there's there's a little joke that I sometimes make. It's not really the funniest, but you know, people would be like, "Do you want to eat? Are you hungry?" I'm like, well, why do I need to be hungry in order to eat? Why does the one constitute the other? And that's typically cancer. You know, find a lot of solace in food. Really love food. Also, sorry, with cancer being that homey energy, they're real homemakers. People love to feed you. I love to feed you. Cancer can turn nothing into a gourmet meal. Either that or they can't cook at all. It really is. But then they're normally good at buying stuff, you know, buying the right food. And they can really, it's quite interesting, they can tell what your mood was when you made this tea, this coffee, this food, this beverage, this snack, whatever. And the funny thing is, they can even tell what your mood is now, even if you're not with them. It's the most interesting thing. They are just so good at seeing people. And, you know, the thing is, and I take it for myself, sometimes, you know, yes, I mean, you know, I'm a spiritual teacher and I'm a coach and I help a lot of people. But sometimes even I myself, I just want to sit in bed, I want to wear my pajamas, I want to go nowhere, I don't want to brush my teeth, and I just want to eat and I watch whatever it is that I'm going through. You know, something online or whatever. You will know when cancer's coming out of that mood when they start watching something really funny. That's something that I do. I've just not recently, some time ago, I just finished watching Schitt's Creek for the third time already. Because it just made me laugh so much that literally my stomach would be like crazy. That's when you know that cancer's coming out of that funk. That, oh, then you know they're about to be titans again. Yeah. But food is definitely a source of comfort for cancer. The thing with that though is that when they go through something that's so difficult to deal with, that it's almost like one big meal just doesn't do it, they may move to things that will make them more hungry. Now, depending on where they are in life, that could be physical exercise, where they almost exercise themselves literally halfway to death. It could be things like extreme marijuana smoking because it makes you hungry. It could be drinking. In actual fact, Cancerians are quite prone to negative addictive personality. They really are. And if I can't get, you know, like a whole chicken and a pizza and into my body and like, you know, whatever, make some nice pudding or something while I wait, I may actually do what I need to do to be able to get it into my body. You know, so that in actual fact can lead to quite health problems quite a bit sometimes. And then of course subsequently you get all sorts of stomach cramps and things like that, and then they feel even more sorry for themselves. So you want to know that there's a very light side to cancer, but there's also a very dark side. And one of the demons that they are most likely going to, you know, sort of like have to fight or deal with most of their life is food. That is what it is. But cancers in general, they just eat. They just eat. And when they are younger, they normally have these extremely crazy metabolisms. When we get older, it obviously slows down, so you can get some health problems and stuff like that. Okay. It's a very slippery slide when it comes to food, because you want to support them and you want to be there for them, but you don't want to take their food away from them either. And trust me when I tell you, you don't want to make the joke with other people like, oh, you know, I came home and Adrian was having this whole thing the other day, because they will laugh in the company with you. But when you get in the car or you get home and they're suddenly just silent, by the way, if they go into that silent mode, you wanna use the magical phrase, and this is the phrase. Baby, let's talk when you're ready. Let me know when you're ready. I would like to know what I've done. I'd like to make it better. I'd like to make up. The response may be calm. There's few things in life more dangerous than a Cancer that's calm. They also have a tendency to laugh. In actual fact, it's a water sign thing. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. But they've got a tendency to laugh when they get really, really mad. It's almost like they can't process what's going on and they don't really know what to do. So they just burst out laughing. They're incredulous. In actual fact, also, you will sometimes see that with Cancer, that like when you say something, ask something, do something, they just won't respond to you. If they feel that whatever you are saying is so ridiculous that it doesn't even, deserve an answer, they're not going to answer you. You can do whatever you want to. You can put a gun against their head and play Russian roulette. These people are also not really afraid of dying. Can sometimes actually have delayed shock. So that's actually a good thing to know as well. That if Cancer's gone through anything traumatic, it can sometimes take 2 to 3 weeks, even 2 to 3 months, or up to a year. 2 if they're feeling in a space where they really feel they can't be themselves, before their minds will actually process what happened. So you want to be their safe haven, because they're only going to process what happened once they feel in a safe haven space. And sometimes food is that safe haven for them. Okay? Moods. Cancer is ruled by the moon. Now, the thing to remember about Cancer's moods is that Cancer themselves dislike these moods more than anybody else. We don't like having these moods. We really don't like it. And you probably tried everything not to have them. Because these moods are overwhelming, they're debilitating, they can hit you, they can knock you out of nowhere. Tip to get for you is typically around the full moon. Cancers can tend to be quite depro. And it's nothing needed to have happened, they just are. When the world goes through a lot of heaviness, they tend to pick that up. They really pick up other people's emotions. It's almost like if there's a flu in the air, it's going to be picked up. That's how they pick up emotions. Okay. And also, something to remember is that the moods that Cancer goes through, everybody goes through these moods. But because Cancer is ruled by the moon, and about every 28.5 days, the moon starts a new cycle. Other zodiac energies are ruled by other planets that do these long cycles, these long orbits around the sun. But for Cancer, it's chup, 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 it's just like that. So they can experience very fluctuating moods very quickly. You have to know that sometimes these people will say things to you which can sound very crass, very crude, very rude, and they may not have meant it. With emphasis on may not have meant it. Okay. Cancers can actually be downright cruel sometimes. I actually quite, laugh. I have this friend of mine. Well, I've got a few Cancerian friends, obviously. Because typically Cancers just do better with Cancers. But sometimes that can also, it can be a wonderful thing, but it can also be a thing where they really support each other in each other's dark sides. Nobody understands this type of thing, But what was I going to say now? I don't know. It'll come back to me. Anyway, so with Cancer's moods, you want to know that it's something that they can't help. Okay? These people also tend to be quite edgy around the new moon, but edgy is in a little bit bitchy, but also very productive, highly productive. So if you're trying to plan something, you might want to sort of do it more sort of like around the new moon. Full moon, these people want to be at home. They want to be at home. They don't want to go out. They don't want to go nowhere. They don't want to receive nobody. Don't just invite people into the house. Don't. They can be in the best of moods. But if you're just suddenly going to spring something on them, somebody comes to visit, somebody's just popping in. What? I remember at some point I was sharing an apartment with someone who every single day when I came from work, there were 2-3 new people in my apartment that I didn't know. It drove me insane, like to the point that I would get anxious about getting home. I didn't want to go home at all. That's Cancer. Their home is their sanctuary, is their sacred space. And if you want to see the worst of Cancer, if you want to see the worst of them, the worst mood, just like that, mess with their sanctuary, mess with their safe space. Doesn't matter what that safe space is. It can be a palatial place. It can be a rock opening in the forest. It's theirs. This is their kingdom. This is their heaven on earth. And if you mess with that, but you want to know that even if you do everything right, and I think this is really Cancer's biggest fear. These moods can hit them out of nowhere, and these moods can be crippling. This is also why Cancers don't always like to just give their word. Because at the moment I give you my word, this is what I meant, this is what I wanted. But, 3 days down the line or 3 hours down the line, I may feel completely different. And I just don't have what it takes to face those people. Also, speaking about that, Cancer likes to, myself included, I like to show up with a purpose. I'm here to speak about this, I'm here to promote this, I'm here for lunch, whatever. Cancers despise, they absolutely despise, they revolt small talk. They want to talk about, is there life on planet Mars or something like that. So they're quite easily bored in actual fact. And they can't really, even though they are good at wearing a mask, they don't like it. But on the other end of things is that when they are in their deep mood, they are, first of all, usually incapable of completely hiding it, and secondly, they just don't want to. And a Cancer that tells you that, listen, when they say to you, I don't want to, that's reason enough. You do not want to push that issue. Trust me when I tell you this, oh my goodness, you don't want to push this. If Cancer said they don't want to, they mean they don't want to. They don't want to ask you for a reason. They'll give you a reason later. But if you're going to push them, you'll be lucky if you see the sun come up again. If you talk about the energy that can really commit a crime of passion, these people can lose their brains. They lose it. So, Cancer is very playful and stuff like that, but, don't push them too far. You want to know those moods with Cancer, it's a very real thing. And if you can't put up with that, best you part ways. It's not like they can change your life, no matter how enlightened they are. Okay? Let's speak about intimacy, the hanky-panky. These people will rock your world. But it's the thing about Cancer is with this water energy, it's like their bodies merge with you. You become one. And, as I said, they only really sleep around if there's a deep sense of insecurity going on, typically. They are looking for that person that they can truly be themselves with. And that self is freaky. But it's like, being intimate with the Cancer is, it's almost like words can't describe it. You need to experience it to understand it. It's like they merge with you. Your bodies don't only become one, your soul becomes one. You become literally one heartbeat. And that is why Cancers don't just easily jump into relationships and stuff like that. Because to them, to Cancer, as I said, they like to fall in love. But as quickly as they fall in love, they can also fall out of love. But that is long before the hanky-panky. But by the time you get to the hanky-panky space, these people have envisioned being with you already. And that is whether they've known you very long or they've known you for just a while, because sometimes there is that instantaneous connection as well. But you just want to know. You have to know this. You have to know this. if you are going to sleep with a Cancerian, it is like a soul tie that happens with these people. And if they find out whether you had a conversation beforehand or not, whether you were drunk or not, whether you were drugged out of your brain, doesn't matter. If you had a concussion, it doesn't matter. Even kissing. But if you're going to sleep with these people, and then, it was just a casual thing. First of all, they're probably going to start stalking you. Yeah, in the sense that it's more like they want to know, but how? How is it possible? How can we have had this physical, intimate, beautiful thing, and now you say this? Like, what do you mean? Their brains literally cannot process it. They can't. They don't get it. What do you mean? We're not destined to be together forever until the end of time. Cancer will give up anything for you. Anything. They will do anything for you. They will live in a place that they don't like, and they will, anything. As long as they're with you. That's what they want. It's that sense of home. And to them, being physically used is the worst form of betrayal. It's the worst. It is the absolute worst. And it's, you can let me know in the comments if you agree with me, but the way that I see it is that when you are, very cruelly and very viciously sodomized, at least you didn't have a say in that. Now, that is obviously horrible. But when it's consensual, and then you walk away, it's worse than that. Because you have deliberately used them. That's the way Cancer's going to see it. They're not going to see it any other way. And trust me when I tell you, a mad Cancerian is somebody you want to leave alone. Talk to them when they want to talk to you. And as long as they're fighting with you, this is the most funniest thing. As long as they're fighting with you, you're still 100% in the game. You're together. If they shout at you, they scream at you, they can become quite vicious. As I said, Cancers can do crimes of passion. All of that's still good. The moment they go silent, the moment they feel there's nothing to say to you, you talk and they either just sit there or they walk away. Don't even bother. The ship has sailed, it's gone deep sea, it's exploded, it's gone. It's gone, don't even bother. If you have all sorts of perverted sexual fantasies, now, typically speaking, Cancer, they even though they can be quite adventurous, they're also sort of reserved because they're looking for intimacy across the board. Remember, they have different moods. So one day they want to be like the whoopa, the dominatrix wife, or be dominated, whatever. If a Cancer lets you dominate them, they really care about you. Okay? Or they want something from you. Because they can be controlling, they can be manipulative. They really can. Cancers will do things to you that they would die if you do it to them. It's just the truth. But they also wanted intimacy. They wanted closeness. And for them, it's not just about the physical act. It's not just about the deed. It's everything. Foreplay to Cancer can be taking out the rubbish, doing the dishes, doing shopping together. They like the small little things. It's almost like if you want to be late tonight and you want to be late well, put them a nice little cute little thing in their lunchbox and stuff like that. But in the same token, if they pick up, and they won't miss it, no matter how subtle you think you are, or how smooth you think you are. If they realize that you are just setting them up and sort of like almost like you're like manipulating their brain, they're not going to appreciate that. You're not getting late at night. You might get late to rest, yeah. Because it's like, how dare you play with my emotions? How dare you play with my feelings? But funny enough, though, and I think this is why Cancerians often, I've been saying this for years, and everybody was like, no, and then I see these days people are getting more on board with it. Cancer actually typically like the air signs more. Gemini, Aquarius, Libra. Because Libra can keep them in tune, Aquarius can tell them what they need to hear, and Gemini is just fun and conversational, you know. They typically get along with these energies quite well. Because they kind of, I don't know, they are able to just do and say things that they couldn't do and say with other people. Because what Cancer really wants, and this is why Cancers are typically so drawn to Cancer, because these people speak a language that really only they understand. I think Aquarius is the other one who really kind of gets it. Actually, the air signs, they really do get it. But Cancer wants to be able to have a full conversation. I'm talking about a full-on conversation with you, across the room, while they're having conversations with other people, and nobody's aware of what's happening between the two of you. It is like the biggest turn on for them. People like communication. Because remember, they're water, they flow. All right? But I think what I was going to say earlier, and I always find it so funny, I joke with my friends when I often see these videos, people say, Cancer's so gentle, they're so sweet, they're so innocent. Cancer's a water energy. They can be like a tsunami, they can change on you just like that. But when you can really get them in that way that that words can't really describe, it's a different sort of thing. But it does mean that you need to open your heart and commit to them. And I think there is really nothing better than being with a Cancer. But at times it can be a little bit scary. These people will keep you on your toes. You know? They will keep you on your toes. They make really excellent parents. But just things to look out for, they can be overwhelmed. They can become unreasonable, especially when they're in that moody stage. Never, ever withhold food from them. Never. And also never, ever withhold intimacy from them. Any intimacy, just even holding hands without a reason. Because they will see it as rejection. The feelings are very easily hurt. And it's hard for Cancer. Once that first sort of crack is there, it's like a crack in a priceless sort of crystal vase. It doesn't always have the same value again. So be honest, be straightforward. Don't play tricks. And if you are ever blessed to be with a Cancer in your life, I think it's the best thing ever. So thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. I'm Adrian Nelson, Life Transformation Guide. I'm not a coach, because a coach, I don't know. I feel I just guide you, because everybody already knows everything. I suppose that's a very Cancerian thing to say, you know. But thanks for watching. I look forward to hearing from you.